Hey everyone. I was sitting at work today and I had a thought. I know it's in the Bible, it comes from Exodus. It's in chapter 4. God is talking to Moses and he asks him that question: What do you have in your hand? Or what's that in your hand? I was thinking about it and I thought of some kind of cool stuff to go along with that, but then went to prayer meeting tonight and I just had a thought and inspiration, and so I thought I wanted to share it with you. If you're not familiar with the story of Moses, just go and read the first few chapters of the book of Exodus. You learn the children of Israel were in bondage to Egypt, and God had promised them a deliverer. And Pharaoh went and had all the children killed, all the male children under a certain age, but yet Moses' family hid him, and he was saved by Pharaoh's daughter, and he ended up being raised by his parents, who Pharaoh's daughter hired to nurse him. So growing up, he had to have known this, and he had to have heard that there was something special about him, that he was going to be used to save the children of Israel. And so later on, he tries to do it in his own power. He goes and kills an Egyptian who's beating a Hebrew slave. Well, he kind of gets freaked out and he runs away into the desert. And for like 40 years, he's in the desert. He becomes a shepherd. He gets married. He has kids. But I doubt he ever forgot that he was supposed to deliver his people from Pharaoh, from Egypt, and give them the freedom. And so he's looking at his shepherd's staff, and it reminds him of his failure, the promise that God made for him that never happened. And every day he looks at it, and every day it reminds him, I'm a shepherd out here in the middle of nowhere, and God called me to deliver my people. And so one day, God calls him from a burning bush. It's in the Bible. You can read it. The bush is burning, but it's not consumed. Tells Moses, take off your feet. This is holy ground. And Moses is all like, I can't do it. And here are the reasons why. I can't do it because of this. I can't do it because of this. I can't do it because of this. Well, one of the times he says, well, how are they going to know that you sent me? And so God asks him, what's that in your hand? And it's a shepherd's staff. And God tells him, throw it down. So he throws it down, and it becomes a snake, and Moses takes off running. Well, I got to tell you, I would take off running too if I saw a snake. Didn't matter if it was a staff or not. I would be freaked out, and I would run. So, but then God tells him to pick it up. Pick it up. And so Moses picks it up by the tail, and immediately it turns back into a staff. Well, God told him to pick it up by the tail. Now, I don't handle snakes. Even if they're dead, I use a hoe with a long handle, and if not a hoe, I'll go cut down a tree and use that. But I'm not going to touch a snake, living or dead. I just don't do them. So anyway, but nevertheless, if you do handle snakes, you're supposed to grab them up by the head so they can't turn around and strike you. But God told him pick it up by the tail. So he picked up the snake, and it became a staff. Well, what changed? It was still a staff. It was still a shepherd's staff. But now, the thing that reminded him of his failure every day for the past 40 years, God told him to pick it up. It's still a staff, but now it's a symbol of God's call on his life. And that, I don't need a shepherd's staff to be reminded of my failures every day. I see them and they are evident to me. But maybe God is calling me, what's that in my hand? And if he's telling me to pick it up, it's no longer a symbol of my defeat. It's no longer a symbol of my failure, but it becomes God's call on my life. So let me ask you this. What's in your hand?